Hi guys, my name is Lela Sophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, and I have some fun videos for you. Today, I have been so excited to share with you guys some of my most beloved vintage bags, but also just talk vintage for a little while. The recent Gucci show has prompted this video. Also, Cassie Thorpe, who I've mentioned in so many videos, I love you so much, was talking about the newest Gucci show and how the Gucci Tom Ford era horsebit bag is now on her mind. I think it's on a lot of people's minds, and I just happened to have really good timing and I bought one in November. Not at all expecting the newest show, so let's talk like, how is this predictable? Sometimes you just get lucky and kind of buy something before it gets a re-edition. It's a whole world. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Lela Sophia Jewelry. Let's go ahead and talk about the infamous, this is the vintage Tom Ford era Gucci horsebit bag. She is the lavender version. As you can see, the metal details are very, very worn on this bag. In particular, I said this in my bag collection video, which I will put below if you guys haven't seen. Rihanna wore the red, like very high in demand, exclusive, I believe it's beaded Tom Ford era Gucci horsebit bag. And I think that was like November, and I had this saved on my vestiaire for like a month or two prior to that, and I was like, oh, the price will never go down. It was kind of, I think it was $700 to $800. They were being sold around that area, and I don't know if this seller saw that or saw that there was an opportunity that people were gonna be liking the horsebit again. They lowered the price to $300, and I was like, done. It's really cute. It's just like a very simple kind of in and out bag. I have the dust bag, which is actually very luxurious vintage Gucci. Who knew? It's like a satin, silky, pretty dust bag. Super simple. It's just, you know, it's mini bag territory, to be honest. I've just taken it out twice to tea, which sounds very bougie. It's not as bougie as it was. It's just an afternoon tea, but I have been really loving it. I'm very, very curious to see how people purchase and then also style the new Gucci horsebit bag. I mean, that bag was literally the focal point of this newest collection, so it's gonna be really interesting. I particularly liked what looked to be, I assume, exotic or the embossed version. Colors I think were really cool. It was clearly giving like very retro vibes. I like the fact that some of them are pretty big and pretty chunky, because mine is a teeny little gal. She's more so an evening bag, or if I'm just like want to make a moment out of an outfit and pop around. I'm really excited to see how people start styling these bags when they drop in the fall. My oldest bag in my collection, this is like the original Celine Triomphe bag. It has the sweet little kind of Triomphe emblem, and then the chain details all have, I wonder if you can see that, the little Triomphe in between the chains. This is my rainy day bag. Very, like, I'm sure some people think it's an old lady bag. I think it's actually so cute. I got it and I was like, is this me? What was I thinking when I purchased this? But what I was thinking is that I really wanted a vintage Celine horse carriage bag. I searched and I searched. I started seeing more people purchase them. I came across this and I was like, oh my God, it's different. It's giving something a little bit new. It's very, nobody would ever be like, oh, that's a Celine bag from the 50s. Nobody would understand that. I just think it's really sweet, and it's kind of turned into my, you know, she might be in the back of my closet, but on a rainy day, on a day that I'm just kind of popping out, especially if I need to do some errands, especially picking up pieces. Honestly, this bag fits more than I thought it did, and so she's a keeper. So as I was looking for the Celine Triumphs, I'm such a huge fan. I hope that you're watching this, but Mary's Room, I love her channel. Check her out if you guys haven't, but I assume you have. She has quite an eye candy, beautiful Celine collection that I'm jealous of. And I love the vintage Celine horse carriage bag. So I might have made 2 mistakes. I literally purchased and then something weird happened with the Vestiaire seller or something or other. Literally, the sale got canceled. They either sold it somewhere else or kind of deactivated their account without letting them know. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. It was, which is now a new re-release style, half textile or canvas, and then just with a border of brown leather with the horse carriage. I was like, oh, I was so sad. Couldn't find another, found another. Literally, it was on there for like 36 hours. Somebody bought it. So I've missed out on that twice, which is so sad. And I'm like, maybe that one's not meant to be. I found an ostrich horse carriage bag. I've been saying this, you guys are probably tired of hearing me say this, but I really like lizard and ostrich. I got the little mini twin 2 bag that's half and half. I love them even more. I would love kind of a bigger purchase with one or both of those leathers. This seems like kind of a cool way to do it. Let me know your thoughts. The only other 2 options, obviously, you guys know me, I would love just like a plain brown one, or I've been looking at a burgundy one. So if anybody has any thoughts, the black, I actually am not a black bag girl other than my one very, very vintage Celine. And I think that burgundy could be an interesting option. This bag you guys have seen me talk about a couple times. She is my very beautiful decade-old bag from The Row. This is from The Row's very, very first bag collection. She is just so gorgeous. This is just in the vintage category. If we're doing over 10 years, I think she's about 12 years old. I love this bag so much. I have an entire dedicated video. This is now my 3rd bag from The Row. I have some more on my list, but I love the fact that this is vintage. It looks vintage without it looking like it has a lot of wear, but it's clearly a very vintage kind of doctor bag style, and she's possibly one of my top 3 favorite bags. And Chanel, the bag that you guys are tired of me talking about. This is a vintage camera bag from Chanel. I have more details in other videos that I'll put down below. I'm gonna go over some of my other bags that I may possibly have on my lists from Chanel, but just to show you up close, I've put a lot of wear. This is the strap kind of tucked in. A lot of wear on the back, as you can see, but truly, like, what a perfect everyday bag. This is amazing. The Chanel bags that are on my list, again, no modern Chanel, only vintage for me. You guys know why. I would not mind a lizard Chanel bag. I found a couple, and they're actually so well priced because it's that era of vintage that's not like even in the 90s or 80s, it's maybe even older. So these bags have been loved. These bags have been worn, which we all know I'm a sucker for. I don't know, it's weird. I think that there's a flap lizard Chanel bag that's really cool. Or, I don't know, I might be wrapped into getting another camera bag one day. I won't do that yet, but it's just so useful. It's so good. And I promise you guys that are looking for one, they look better on. They're not as like exciting on little tiny screens, but they look really good on. The only other Chanel bags I would go for a long time, I had the jumbo vertical stripe bag, if that's what it's called. on my list. Also just like the jumbo with the big jumbo CC I think is kind of really cool. And then to be so boring and basic, I also really love the vintage mini square flap bags. They're so cute. That is something that could potentially be on my list. I think the minis do have a really nice long crossbody strap. My vintage is like, it's the highest I'd go. It's a little short just for me and my plus size body, but I've heard that the mini square flaps have like an appropriate longer crossbody strap length. And then I have my vintage Gucci Jackie, which we've gone over. The actual bag is in great condition. It's been really good. The strap, however, is a little sad. I'm actually working on the leather. It used to kind of just like flap over, but I've been hanging it, which is really helpful. So, you know, leather is still malleable even if it's as old as this bag is, which I have no idea when this is from, but she's an old gal. This has made me kind of want a Gucci Jackie. Also, I've said this before, but my brother's girlfriend has the small size in red. It's so her. It's like the most her bag. It's just perfect. She knows herself so well. And there is a new color that I'm like kind of dying for. We know I'm all neutrals, but it's like mint mixed with cricket mixed with just like a light dusty green. I literally went to Gucci and I was like, do you guys have this color? And they didn't even have it yet. It's brand new on the website. That could be a consideration. Otherwise, I don't know. I would do cream perhaps, which is scary, but also maybe black. Let me know if you guys have the small size or the mini size. I think I'd do either one of those because this gal is clearly the medium. It's like 12 inches across. It's pretty big. It might even be 13. So a mini Jackie might have to make its way into my collection one day. Before I show my 2 Hermes bags that are vintage in my collection. I know I've said this before, but you know, a contemporary bag I'd really love would be the Row Margot bag, but if I'm like totally nixing and like totally overriding my own capsule wardrobe kind of parameters that I'm trying to stick to, I don't know. Is it basic to also want a vintage Birkin? I kind of want one. I won't for like a while unless a crazy deal comes along, but like a Birkin 30 or Birkin 35 and just like a tan or chocolatey brown, the most worn, most worn, it would be kind of cool. So she's hovering everywhere all the time. Also, so I'm gonna be doing an entire, I think I have to break it up because I found a lot of styles, a vintage version and a contemporary version, even if they're re-editions of Hermes styles that I think are like completely underrated. One that I do really love is the Bolide bag. There are other brands who, like, let's be honest, did the exact same thing. There's one from The Row and there's one from Celine that I found, but I've seen some very worn Hermes Bolides that it would be really cool, especially if you can kind of like either makeshift a strap or figure out if it has a strap. It seems like a really cool bag. Also, maybe I have a thing. I had no idea that I was drawn to this, but like the canvas with then a border of leather Hermes bags are really cool. I've seen several. That could make its way into my collection one day. And then lastly, I talked about this when I got my bag from The Row actually. There is, I'm not positive on the name. I've seen it as a couple different names on a couple different sites. Very vintage, kind of vertical bag style from Hermes. Never seen anyone talk about one. Never seen one in real life. That could be so cool. Of course, it's me, so there's one in Lizard that I found. And there's a couple on The Real in like really nice browns, which is obviously, you know, extremely annoying of me to say 1,000 times in this video. That could be a really cool understated like, oh yeah, let me just go grab the extremely vintage Hermes bag that is really unrecognizable and nobody understands what it is. But until that day happens, I have my 2 babies. I love, this is my vintage Hermes Her bag and my vintage Kelly 32 in Blue Marine. These bags are just everything to me. I especially love the fact that this is my one kind of pop of color bag. Navy, I clearly treat everything as a neutral. Green and yellow are the only 2 other color bags that I have. Bordeaux is the only color I would add maybe one day. This is just the epitome of style and kind of effortlessly cool. I know I pair brown and black mostly, but blue and black, especially a dark, really pretty blue like this one, I think is just so cool. It's very European, it's very vintage Prada, but I love it so much. These babies are gonna be forevers in my collection. And just a side note, all of my Louis Vuitton bags are vintage. I'll do a separate Louis collection video. I've kind of gone away from monogram, but my canvas Louis bags, I feel like I just have to pass them down, so they'll never go anywhere, and they still exist, don't worry. I figure this is kind of a cool, more unique, different bags, but also very classic staples that are in my collection currently, as well as the pieces that I might have my eye on. Let me know what you guys are looking at vintage-wise right now, because I always love hearing ideas. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Lela Sophia Jewelry. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.